Hey everyone, my name is Tegan and welcome back to TandeWrites. Today I want to give a little update on my writing projects. I haven't talked about writing in a while. So this year I decided to commit to finishing the first draft of a book that I've been working on for 9 years. In my heart is affectionately nicknamed Best Friend Whip, but I think the title is There Will Be Other Summers, which has been a working title for, I think the past year or two I've been working on it. It's gone through a lot of iterations, but I've committed to it being the working title. And I'm very pleased to announce that sometime in August I finally finished writing my first draft in 9 years. So There Will Be Other Summers is a standalone queer contemporary about the complexities of disability, discovering the wrong ways to be not okay, and how platonic soulmates can change your world overnight. Perfect for fans of Alice Oseman's conversational prose and the heart-wrenching coming-of-age story of All the Bright Places. And to me, this book is about grieving a version of yourself that hasn't existed for a long time, and never deleting former friends' birthdays from your countdown app, even though you'll never forget, and wanting to end it all at 17 because your sadness seems never ending and you can't figure out another way to stop it. In summary, this is the book I needed when I was going through a severe mental health crisis in my late teens. And throughout the writing process, I've been printing what I call motivational proof copies of my book to visualise it. We have the 25% completion, 50% and the 100% one. They're all kind of colours that reference the book cover I've designed, which is fully on this one. We have my babies on the front, and I drew this cover. I'm very emotionally attached to it. And now I've accepted I do want to query this book. I want to give it a chance to reach a wider audience, and if not, I am very happy to publish it myself. So I know that maybe one day this won't be the cover, but it has been the cover in my heart for maybe a year now, because I drew the cover before finishing the book. And if it comes to the day where I actually talk about self-publishing this book, instead of a querying journey, I will tell you all about, what's going on. A lot of fun things in here. I've been documenting it on my private Instagram account just for a memory. So let's talk a little bit about stats. The first draft ended up being around 60,000 words, which is quite short for any novel. If I publish it myself, I can format it to be around 350 to 400 pages. But, the depth of the story doesn't suddenly appear if you make your line spacing wider. So I hit my I finished the first draft late August this year. I'm filming this in September. It's probably not going to go up for a while. So currently, right now, in Lifetime, I'm going through, in my heart it's the true first draft. I refer to everything up until this point as draft 0, but it is first draft because, first draft is for making the book exist, second draft is for making it functional, third is for making it good, I think. So I'm working on what is a second draft, but in my heart is the true first draft, because I realised my major issue more as I was going through drafting was that I suddenly started having ideas. Say I had an idea in about chapter 10 that something had to happen, then I realised that, I have to foreshadow and introduce this plot in all the chapters before. So I've started a lot of plot points kind of halfway through, and now in the draft I'm working on, I have to go back and add all that previous information. So I guess what I'm working through is a developmental edit, which is, where you make the big structural and plot changes. There's not really a huge amount of structure and plot changes I do want to make, because I have been working on this book for so long. It's had a lot of versions so far. It's gone through many a developmental edit. And the draft that I just finished working on, I did stray from my outline a lot and added in a lot of things there. So I feel like in my heart, for what I can personally do without hiring an editor, is kind of done for developmental editing. I need to go back and add all the context for some scenes that I've added. And then after that will be line editing. I think I'll have to focus a lot on character plots, make character points, make sure their personalities are consistent throughout, and just continuity errors, things like that. But I'm having a really good time working on this book. When I finished writing my second book, where's it gone? It's right behind me here, Paper Forests. That was another book that I've been working on and off for multiple years as well, and when I finished it I felt this great surge of relief that it was done, which I think was honestly just my relief of proving to myself that I could finish something else. Because I finished my first book and I thought, great, first book's done, but now I've got to do a second one to prove that I'm an actual author, not just a one-off storyteller, So when I finished Paper Forest, it was a great relief that I had managed to write a second book and I could be, in my head, a real author. But I didn't get that when I finished my lovely best friend whip. Let's go for this one. Because I love the story so much, I've been working on it for so long, and I had also accepted to myself that I was going to continue working on it for so long until it's well and truly done and it's out on shelves, whether that's a traditional or self-published route. So I literally finished the book and I made a new Word document and I went into editing straight away, which I know is a very bad thing to do. You meant like sit with it for a while, you know, come back to it with fresh eyes. But I knew as I was writing, I have like a little list written down of things I know I had to go back and add just to make it a coherent draft, and then I can focus on making it good. And also some point during this process, I mentioned it maybe briefly in the last writing updates video I did. I said, I kind of want to query this book. I want to, you know, put out queries for maybe like 6 months or so, see if there's any interest, and then give up there and then self-publish it if there's no interest. But I think I have decided I will give this book the best chance it has. If I send out hundreds of queries and it takes 2 years for they to get replied to, then it takes 2 years, and I can use that time working on a different book. And I think I'm looking forward to the querying process. Writing a query letter is my personal hell, and every other writer's personal hell, because I can have a fine time, you know, summing up. I know how to write comp titles, which are, you know, the titles that you compare your book to. So my major ones are Alice Oseman, All the Bright Places. My issue is that a lot of them are kind of out of date right now, because I don't think any of Alice Oseman's novels, which I'm referencing, came out. They're meant to be like in the past 5 years to show that, you know, you're well read in your genre, you know recent trends, up-to-date information, marketing, all that. So my issue is that my comp titles aren't up to date, because I've kind of been slacking on reading contemporaries recently. Like, Dear Wendy is probably the closest current one that I've read. In a sense, I understand comp titles and the specific things, like I'm comparing myself to Alice Oseman because we have very conversational prose styles. I'm comparing myself to somewhere here in these shelves here, All the Bright Places, because it's a coming of age story, but it's also very heartbreaking and emotional, and there's a focus on this friendship between the two main characters. And it's like, I kind of know what I'm doing with comp titles. I need to find up-to-date ones. I can write an author bio. I know how to talk about myself a little bit. I can pick out, I know my trigger warnings, my content warnings. I know how to research my agents and find, you know, what about my book they are specifically looking for in their acquisitions. This is just a synopsis. How do I summarise 9 years of my life and 60,000 words, which will probably become longer, into a paragraph? And you know what? I will read you this kind of description I currently have, because I originally started writing this book on novellas. I have some trophies for novellas, none of which are for this book, therefore paper forests. So, to my awards. I got an award for making a trailer to my first book, which is called Beauty and the Breakdown, which is basically a music video made of clips from other music videos. I think Katy Perry, The One That Got Away, is in there. A bit of Taylor Swift, The New Year of Trouble, you know, that kind of vibe. I have Novella of the Year was Paper Forests. My book was fan voted most popular on the website for 2017, because that's how long it took me to finish writing this guy. And then I was also like the new writer of the year. And I would give anything for the Novella's website to be up and running, because they're currently taking it over with AI. So I now have a fear that this book I started writing 9 years ago is being used to train AI. But I would give anything for the website to be up and running in any sense, so I can go back to this book. It was originally called Heart back in the day. I'll put a little screenshot here if I can find it. But I want to go back and read my comments, because this was my most popular book in terms of likes. It had my highest like to view ratio, whereas Paper Forest was very popular in terms of views but had less likes, and this one had a lot of comments as well. I think it hit something with people. But yeah, I was going to read you my description. This is a description I wrote when I was 16. I'm now 23. So Rin is morbidly pessimistic, blaming the world for his problems. He could probably see past his anger if he could still, well, see. Asha sees the good in everyone, probably best since she blocks out what everyone says about her. Not by choice, but she does. The pair are forced to form a bond after becoming partners in group therapy in a desperate attempt to bring some light into their lives, starting with writing letters to each other. No one expected a third letter to arrive. So yeah, this is a book about a blind boy, a deaf girl. They meet in group therapy. They become friends because they kind of identify with each other. One of them says something about disability and mental health in a sense, the other one connects to it. They get paired up in the group project, they're meant to write letters back and forth, and a third letter just mysteriously arrives from an unknown sender. So obviously, when I started writing this was a kind of The Fault in Our Stars-esque story, which is too old for me to comp. But yeah, writing a synopsis is an absolute nightmare. I'm trying. I'm pulling up all my comp titles, reading their descriptions and working out how to put them together. And then we'll see how it goes. So yeah, my plans for right now, I'm gonna finish this kind of developmental draft I'm doing. I think then I'll try and send out some beta readers just to see what they think. I need a little feedback at this stage. It's been so long since I've received any kind of comment about it. And then hopefully someone can help me pull together a synopsis for my query letter. And then we're going to be sending my baby out into the world, which is absolutely terrifying. I kind of queried before for my first book, Booting the Breakdown, which is this like teenage viewpoint of what Bonnie and Clyde was. I think I sent query letters, but it's like Vanity Hybrid presses, because I was like, I want to get this book published, but I don't know how to get an agent because I was 15 at the time. So I just sent my query letter directly to these publishers where they're like, hey, you give us $2,000 and we'll publish your book. And 2 of them did offer to publish my book, and I think about it sometimes. Like, what would have happened if I accepted that? But I did not have $2,000, I was 15. So yeah, draft 2, beta reader, another draft after that point definitely. We'll see how it goes, querying. Bon appetit. Thank you so much for watching this lovely ramble, and I hope to give you an update in the near future. Bye.